Episode 373 of the Too Thick Pod, your home for all things sports, cards, levity. I am Jeremy, joined as always by my dear friend, our son, the hobby's child, many men's heroes, your wife, girlfriend, mother lusts after him, Manny being Manny 6.9.
What is good, Too Thick fam? We are and back with meat sweats and tummy sweats, fresh off an ICP concert, I might say. So people think it's a front when we call you guys Thickalos or we're Thickalos, but J-Man over there was painted up, looked like a Killer the Clown, and he was jumping up and down. I don't know what happened, by the way, because I saw pictures of Courtney with her paint, and by the end of the show, she's sweating and wet, and there was no paint on her face. I don't know what was going on in the that concert. So you got to enlighten us.
All right, so let me tell you something. There was no face paint, but I will give, and I think we have one picture. Everybody knows I'm not keen on getting my picture taken. I took one picture because I represented Too Thick at Hallowicked.
Yep.
So it was the 30th annual Halloween night show put on by the Insane Clown Posse. And the genesis of this is when I'm going to date myself, but when I was 15, 16, 17, I was working full time. I had quit school. I was helping my mom pay bills, and I learned really quickly, and I mean this in the most respectful way, that if you have the money, you make the rules. So myself and a group of friends, 15, 20 years ago, drove to Detroit on October 30th to see ICP on Halloween night. And it was the wildest, scariest, fun, most exciting. You know, you pack in it's all the other shit, right? The concert's badass, but a road trip with your friends. How are we going to get a hotel? Because none of us are age. We just, we had a little bit of loot and we were excited for an adventure. So fast forward many years, we're now living in Michigan, and we've always talked about like how cool would it be to take our kids. Well, Amelia's now 17, right? So she's old enough, and I thought, how cool would this be to go see something that I saw when I was a child, to put her in an experience with like a mosh pit. Now, mind you, I had another big dude with me who were on full bodyguard, so anybody even got remotely close, and put her in a pit and just, Mercules was there. If a lot of people might know him for a lot of the covers. He did like Old Town Road cover, like a Canadian rapper, just stellar. So awesome. So there was a good opening act. Our family is a musical family. We love live music. Me and Amelia just saw NF. We're going to Grand Rapids this weekend to see Tech Nine and Hollywood Undead. So we enjoy music. And as a kid, I don't have memories like that with my parents. So Courtney and I make it a point to not only take interest in what our kids do, but share some of the things that brought us joy. So I will tell you, we are there. The show starts. It's mayhem. There's Faygo flying everywhere. They're soaking wet. You better believe every time I got my hands on a 2-liter, I fucking cracked that bitch. Made sure Amelia was super, super diet Faygo'd up so she could have this badass memory. You know what I mean? And so now for her friends are like, your parents take you to concerts. We had a blast. We got to spend quality time. She got to learn about opening rap acts that suck and how you have to tolerate that to get to the good. She got to see Uncle Rich get in a mosh pit and let out some aggression. I told him we got in there, and my man's not a big drinker. He is not a big drinker. And before you know it, I turned around. He was gone. He came back with more drinks. Turned around, gone, more drinks. And I said, uh-oh, Uncle Rich is finna to let loose tonight. And you could just tell. I'm super protective of the fam. But my man was trying to be out in front of me to make sure nobody got to me before they could get to them, And he's a big dude, 6'3", 6'4", 275. He's a pretty big fella. So before you know it, my man just cut through and got in the pit and was just having the time of his life, blowing kids up, picking them up off the ground, blowing them up again. And so we got home 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. Amelia's in swim, so she had to turn around and get a quick nap. experience something that, like, we used to do when we were kids. Like, there was no time for sleep.
Yeah.
I felt my age. I worked, I got my shit done, and I, like, laid on the couch, like, sore. My clothes reeked of Fago and weed smoke. And, and it was a good time, man. It was
Yeah.
an absolute good time. But I wore the too thick shirt that my guy Blaine made for me and represented because I don't have any of the merchandise, and I wasn't about to go drop that money that I don't have to buy it. But I had the too thick, so everybody thought it was dope. It was orange. It was festive Halloween. And let me tell you, being downtown Detroit on Halloween, the spotlights, the music, the vibe was immaculate. For real, for real. She.
People like shit on like that never been there shit on Detroit, but Detroit's actually a nice city. Like when you're actually in Detroit. Look at this, Jeremy. Since I brought this up, since you're talking about Insane Clown Posse and sports cards, look at this. I know it's a custom card, but it's a stained glass of Violent J and Shaggy.
I am telling you, those dudes, there's a book called Behind the Paint. And if you like music and want to hear the come up story, super dope. We're big into music. So like you hear about Esham, Eminem, Kid Rock, King Gordy, like Bizarre, D12, Proof. Everybody came up here. It's just a cool vibe. And like in all seriousness, just being able to share that and like explain to my kids like what it was like and how I felt driving into Detroit as a 17-year-old boy. You know what I mean? With because I had long blonde hair and it was all braided up. And I was like, for my age, I was like the first kid to have tattoos. You know what I mean? And so it was awesome, man. It was
Did you
awesome.
did you know Garbage Pail Kids have Insane Clown Posse cards? Look at
I
this.
do.
I didn't
I
know
did.
this.
I've seen that one.
We have to
They have
get
a Shaggy one too, which is wild.
we have to get these.
Yeah,
This is what we're gonna pass. We're gonna buy these in stacks and just pass them out.
It was dude, that's what it's all for, man. It's like you get older and your priorities change.
Yeah.
And for me, like when you see like what was the guy from Friends that just died? I never watched Friends.
Matt, is it Chandler? Was his name Chandler in the show?
I
Matthew or something like that?
But like other people dying or getting old is like a constant reminder that what we have can be taken away at any moment. And so I cherish those opportunities because let's face it, at some point your kids are gonna grow up, leave, and do their own thing, or they're gonna have their own interest, and it's not always gonna be cool to hang out with mom and dad. And so we've been very fortunate and very blessed that we have an environment where we can go enjoy the company, spend time with them, let them see a little bit of controlled chaos, but still be there to protect them and make sure that, everything's good. So
that's awesome.
It was awesome, man.
I was telling Kaylee when I saw that, I was like, I can't wait until Haven is that age where I could go like, hey, let's go to like because my thing is EDM and like like a house party with glow sticks, and I just could picture me in Haven. It's probably going to be my youngest that's going to want to go instead of Haven, but I could dream.
We were talking, and Court was saying like how like at first she was excited, and then then she was filled with this apprehension or this like, hey, I've got to make sure I protect Amelia. Was this a bad idea? But when you really think about it, because everybody's decorated, everybody's got face paint on, everybody's wearing costumes. If you think about it, you're watching a couple of musicians who are in their late 40s, early 50s perform, and you forget like what was so wild 20. Now, don't get me wrong, it was still crazy wild, but a lot of us have gotten a little bit older. We've grown up as much. There's not people jumping off of speaker stacks, breaking their necks. You know what I mean? And so it was
for the people that don't know, ICP is just Bill's Mafia in clown suits and clown face paints. Am I wrong?
Dude, they were 51 and 49.
Yeah, no, back in the day.
No, I know. They were their big thing is when they got booted, they were like, so they were getting picked up by record labels, and the record labels weren't distributing the music any further than where they already had a stranglehold.
Yeah.
So finally they go and they get put on Hollywood Records, which at the time was known by Disney. The album came out, The Great Malenko, and nobody'd actually like listen to the content. And because like right away it's like a lot of like, cursing, it's like, horror themed. It got booted, and then like by them being pulled, that created more of a buzz. You're watching MTV and you're, Kurt Loder with MTV News, like giving you the update. And then they basically said, like, hey, we're gonna have our fans go burn down Disneyland if you don't free us up, which like made them. Then they beefed, and they were just like they were different. They were
Yeah.
different. And so it was always appealing to me because I'm just in general different. If like 99% of people say something is good, naturally I gotta be like, oh, that kind of sucks.
Yeah,
And
you are.
so, like, it was kind of cool because they were hated on so much. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Everybody hates them. Fuck it. I'll try to think that they're cool. And
You're different?
I'm a little left of center, my friend.
No, you're all right. You're all
Yeah.
right.
So that's what we've been doing, man. I'm excited for you. One thing when you see the joy, because you know what it's like to go in your first concert, right?
Yeah.
And that wonder and like the loud music and every noise and everything that's going on. And it's different. So when we saw NF stadium show, this is more like closer to a small club. Seeing your friends treat their kids like if anybody looks at them, they will kill them, fills you with like this, like, okay, that like you always know that's your guy,
Yeah.
that's my friend, that's my people. But then seeing that and like that, I don't know what the word is, but it's like a sense of like, man, I'm grateful, I am happy, I am pleased. I know if something were to happen, I'm surrounded by people who love and care, will look out for everyone. And so it was cool, man. It was
I
cool.
can only picture Amelia at school telling her friends that she went to go see ICP and then being like, who's that? And then her showing pictures of
Think about like flip it like this. I think you and me had relatively similar childhoods. We didn't come from money, and we didn't get to have a lot of the experiences that maybe some of my peers had.
yeah.
And so when I was a kid, I remember being jealous, like somebody has like the new video game system, or somebody's going to a wrestling event or a ball game. I never got to do any of those things. And that's not a complaint. In hindsight, I'm probably grateful that I
Yep.
didn't, because it caused me to, work and earn. And I still truly appreciate the shit out of everything. But now being able to provide that for my kid, knowing that they're going to go to school and share that, knowing that, like, I'm sure Amelia, that motherfucker's peacocking down the hallway. Because with card shows, look, she's got to go to the National. She's got to go all over, Cleveland. She interned at my company, so she got to travel. She
Yeah.
got to fly, first class. So she's like, first class Delta or nothing.
She's getting bougie already, is what you're saying.
Yes. She got to experience what it's like. Like, I let her, we were in Virginia, we rented this, like, I'm not a car guy, but this like 8-cylinder like
Yeah.
Audi, I pulled off and let her fucking whoa. She's got these pictures and these videos. And so for me, it's like just doing something that makes her happy, but we get to be together and have a good time. And it's just, I look forward to doing that with the boy when he
Yep.
gets himself ungrounded, and then Kaya and Lala. So,
Dude, he lives in grounded world. That's the downfall of our childhood. We weren't given anything, but then if we were, we would end up like Steven.
look, dude, I am work hard and
Courtney's
play as
gonna
hard
hate
as
me
you
for
want,
that.
but you got to put in the work. And
Courtney's gonna kill me.
hard work and effort is rewarded in this house. Lazy and taking shortcuts is just beaten down.
Talk about shortcuts. Let's talk about your the NBA season starting off hot for my team. I think we're on opposite like spectrums here because you got your team, which look on paper could be good. They're not playing so hot. And then on my team, it doesn't look like they could be good, but I mean, we're doing really well.
I'm not sure what to say. This Bulls team is thus far they've been the same Bulls team that has gone and played, up and down basketball over the last, since Lonzo got hurt.
Yep.
And I'm not sure what it's going to take for something to change, because I am a believer to a certain degree in continuity, allowing a team to be together. But they're trying to have young talent perform, but they're not putting them in a position to develop, because it's win now because of the big three. So you're trying to develop young guys, but they're being asked to do something that they're not being developed into, which is creating like at the end of the day, these are 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old kids struggling in the workplace. We all know how that feels. And so it's painful to sit back. And
Mhm.
I will say that I try not to be biased, but I am to a certain degree. I would be lying if I said I wasn't. Like, I obviously have a ton of Patrick Williams. I like the kid. I want him to be successful, but it is painful for a guy who was drafted to be a small forward, who never started, who was never asked to be the man, to now all of a sudden have these expectations when you've got DeMar, Levine, and Vooch dominating possession, and him at best being the fourth option.
What
So it's been painful because mediocrity in the NBA is hell.
Yep.
You want to compete for a championship or you want to tank and just accumulate assets. And being in the middle, not having good probability of getting a top 3 pick in the draft, keeping players or letting them walk for nothing. From a salary cap perspective, they're not in a good spot. And so it's each game is something awesome that you like, the great defense, the team ball, but then there's the negative, like we can't shoot threes. We can't make threes. We had 8, 9, 10 more possessions than the Mavs. Shot at a decent clip, except from 3-pointers. You guys made 9, 10, 11 more threes, whatever the hell the number was. So it's hard to win with that style of basketball today. So NBA sucks. The Bears suck. Sports sucks for me right now.
Well, on my end with the Mavs, you guys did shut down Luka, which I would have thought you shut down Luka. Kyrie's not playing. You guys are going to win by like 20. But like you said, Grant Williams was a huge pickup. People laughed at him. Uh, he said that he's never been this open, or it's crazy how open he is this year, and you could see it. He's knocking down threes. He's actually taking the heat, wants to take a heat off Luka. If Luka's complaining about a foul, he's like, I'll take the technical. What you need a player like that. But to be 4-0 and Kyrie's missed 2 games, half the games, is kind of crazy to me. And Luka's playing on like one bad foot, and the dude's just been balling. What makes me laugh about the Bulls, and I was going to tell you about this. I feel like I don't know how I feel about Levine. The dude scores like 51 points, but then you guys lose. So it's like, you should trade him for assets, right? At this point?
Dude, I like Zach. I don't love Zach. I think signing Zach to a max extension was necessary for the Bulls franchise because ever since Jordan, ownership has not been trusted.
No.
I'd like to ask you, when was the last time the Bulls signed a big name free agent?
Haven't.
They didn't. It was the summer when their consolation prize was Carlos Boozer, when LeBron and Bosh went to Miami.
Is Lonzo considered? Was
No.
he assigned? No.
No. You probably overpaid to get DeMar.
Yep.
I think most people thought he was going to the Lakers. But the point being is, like, you now have AK, who built the Nuggets. You've got Mark Eversley. And now you signed somebody who wanted to be there to a max extension. So you're kind of building up the front office. Remember, they also went through the Derrick Rose injury, where the organization and Derrick's camp argued about, like, rehabilitation, how quickly he should get back. So I think part of that is building up the organization. You bring on DeMar. So you've got a couple of people who are going to speak highly. Zach will go on these. It seems like once every 5th or 6th game where he, like, if you were to play NBA Jam on fire mode for 10 minutes where it's just like splash, splash, splash. My problem with Zach is you already know that when he's feeling it, that no matter what, he will take the most god-awful shot. And it's like, dude, you can be on fire. Like, you can still, like, run some offense. You can still get some people cutting. You can run some pick and roll action. You don't have to just watch everybody stand around and then do a step back fadeaway 3. Like, come on. So, like, sometimes his decision making bothers me. And I still think at some point for the Bulls, you get in these situations where the offense comes down and it's like, you can already tell, like, this is going to be Zach's possession or this is going to be DeMar's.
Yep. And it's bad. It's easy. You're predictable at that point.
Yeah. That I sense, and I know there's other people that agree, that we have a head coach, and I respect Billy Donovan, who like makes up his mind that no matter what, at the 8-minute mark, we're making substitutions. And he will pull a player out who is playing incredibly well. And it's like, dude, why can't you come off that? Why does everything have to be it's like scripted. You can like for better or worse within like 90-95%, I can tell you who the subs are going to be, when they're going to come in, and how long they're going to play. And it's like you'd like to see some more. And I'll say the one thing that is troublesome for me is he's a players coach, which means the big three, Zach, DeMar, and Vooch, aren't going to hear a whole heck of a lot. However, no problem being critical on the younger guys. And so I think when you truly control a locker room, because the Bulls aren't known for having a inside voice or like a locker room leader, like that was going to be Pat Beverly, and you kind of saw how the Bulls performed with a true point guard and somebody who will say, "Hey, get your head out of your ass, do this." Um, it just it's a situation where everything's kumbaya, everybody's friends. Like you want some people like putting their boots up people's asses, saying, "Let's go."
Yep.
And so it's just it's frustrating. I'm clearly passionate about the Bulls, and I just would like them to either just like tank and rebuild, or do what you got to do to win, and quit just being a 500 club.
And as we're talking, before we move on, the play-in tournament that starts tomorrow. Speaking these things, these courts suck ass. By the way, I don't know how it works, but this right here is going to be so bad to watch. Do you like? I don't understand why they're doing this. Like, look at this is the Bulls. Here's Boston, Grizzlies. This is gonna be hard on the eyes. Am I old or like?
So I really think that they're trying to make this a thing. Like I think the intent is not for. Oh, that actually kind of looks cool. I kind of like the way the orange and blue. That's ugly,
Dude.
I'm not a huge fan, but I think to make it more of a thing, what's every 12 through or 7 through 17-year-old kid going to be talking about next day at school?
I guess.
Right? Because I'm guaranteed if you and me hate it, we're old, and there's going to be a bunch of people thinks it's mad fly for real, for real.
Does this go towards a real record, or is it just separate?
Yes.
It does. Yeah. So some teams might play more than 82 games.
I think I'm not sure. I know there's a big cash prize, and I think it's another way to drum up interest. Like the NBA does an incredible job marketing itself. Like baseball and hockey could learn a lot from the NBA. Like
yeah,
you and me can go post NBA clips, and they're like, "Not a problem, man. Please share it. Please share that dunk. Please share that pass." You know what I mean?
Yes. Supposedly, baseball had a World Series the last month, and I guess that's over too. So
yeah,
I don't know anything.
So I think this is a way to drum up interest, because you maybe have that initial wave of like, oh, the season's finally starting. It's like, okay, well, we've got 70 something more games. Let's go back to football. Let's go back to this. And this is a way to drum up interest in games that aren't like that might be just meh for other people, which means more viewers, which means more sponsorships, which means more revenue, ad revenue, which means more money for Mr. Owner.
Let's be real though. The NBA got that from the Premier League. It's pretty much the FA Cup, right?
It is. Yeah. It's 100%. They're copying soccer, which is smart. Like imitation is the greatest form of flattery.
Do they play the whole tournament at once? Like
it'll conclude before Christmas.
So this is just one game tomorrow, right?
Yeah, like so everybody's in their own pools or brackets.
Yeah.
They're predetermined. They'll play these games, and then you advance, and then the finals are in Vegas. So even that'll be a spectacle. Like,
okay.
Like, and if you've seen the commercials, they've got Chrissy from The Sopranos.
Yeah.
And they got like DeMar and Trey fighting in a hotel. Draymond's pushing laundry. Julius Randle is just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was just curious because I'm like, teams like LeBron James, if it doesn't count to your record, he won't be playing in this tournament because this is chance to rest.
But everything I've heard is like you can now, this is just what I heard. The expectation is probably going to be like some mid-tier team that's going to win it, not like,
Yeah.
because if I'm playing for an NBA championship, like let's say I'm the Clippers and I get an opportunity to rest Kawhi or PG or Russ without breaking any of the rules, I'm not putting them at risk to win some couple extra bucks like you want the championship. Now, if you can do both, great, but I think it's championship is the priority.
Yeah, unless it counts towards your record because you need those wins.
No, it definitely counts towards your record.
Oh, so yeah, they want the wins. So
But it's like you're not like in December, you're not going to go balls to the wall
and
when
get
you're
hurt.
down 15 in the fourth quarter, as opposed to like game 7 of an NBA championship.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, guys, we didn't win this one, whatever, but we're going to make sure we're healthy because we have, 3 out of the next 5 on the road and it's up against tough competition.
I like it. Well,
Enough about this bullshit.
I was gonna say we're 25 minutes in and we haven't brought up a single thing we've done in their hobby lately. So
Well, you know what? I think our show, to a certain degree, even though it's not because of that, I think our show, our podcast, our Smash Radio thing, #1 on all the networks, I think there's a lot of people who truly have hobby fatigue.
yes.
Because I will say, I'd see some of the messages. I've almost been off of social completely, maybe a half an hour a day, if that, which has been very refreshing. I feel like my days are twice as long now. I do miss the connection. Like I had a sweet thing on Twitter going for a while. And I just took it off my phone and it's been so much nice that Twitter, Instagram, I've still fucks with Instagram just as touch. And even LinkedIn. I got rid of LinkedIn because LinkedIn was turning into like Facebook.
It was.
You know
It
what I mean?
is.
Like LinkedIn was always my one safe space where I could go read about infrastructure. And then I go on there and it was like, people arguing politics and being like just being D bags. So, but I've also gotten a lot of messages of people like, I'm done in the hobby. I want to sell all my cards.
Yep. Same.
And I know you, not to speak on your business, but you've been kind of chilling, just building up a bankroll, seeing what you're going to do next. And so I
Mhm.
think that like kind of accurately represents like we can still love this thing, but it's okay to like not saying that we took a break, but it's okay to take a break or pause or pump the brakes a little bit and slow down.
Yeah. No, it definitely there's hobby fatigue. I like the people that are classifying hobby fatigue as a negative or people are leaving or hobbies going down to zero. No, it's just sometimes you go so hard at something it's like the off season right now for us. There's nothing right now like we've discussed before. There's really nothing to buy until like I say and this might be me like don't take anything I'm saying, but I'm going to start buying when it's between Thanksgiving and Christmas because people are going to be looking for holidays. So I'm saving my money to find the right purchase too. Like I want a cool Nomar, I want a cool Frederico, I want to get some soccer cards, maybe buy a case of One Piece. Like I'm just saving up, you know.
That's got to feel good though, knowing that if something comes up that grabs your attention, you've got a little nest egg instead of being like over. I don't mean overextended like you're maxing out credit cards, but just not having the cash on hand
Yep.
to do what you want to do because you're like maybe holding onto a card that you're not sure is going to,
And
that you're not sure if you could sell it or what.
I'm still buying cards. Like for example, not like super expensive. Like I'm doing cards with Haven. We went to the comic book store, our local comic book store, and they had Pokemon cards. We got these Obsidian flame packs, and look what she pulled.
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
awesome.
it's the level 3, so it's the worst. But you know how excited I was when she ripped it, and I was like Charizard. I was like flying around like the room like him, trying to, but it was fun. That her laughing at me getting excited made it more exciting for her to open more packs.
Yeah, here's just a couple of like. So I've still been buying a fair amount. I've had
Yep.
a blast. I've struggled mightily to get to shows. Shout out to our dear friend Dennis,
Yeah.
JNN, TNT, all of our friends who set up at Southwest Michigan Collectibles, all the people that set up at Lansing,
Hollister.
Hollister, Brad. We were unable to go. Real life business got in the way, so I was unable to attend. Your daughter's sick. Thank God she's feeling better.
Yeah.
So it was the first time I missed a show. However, I was fortunate enough to go with Courtney and Kaya Bear, who Kaya loves, and now she just wants Georgians. Can I get Georgians?
That's
Somebody was super friendly. I wish I remembered his name, and he gave her a stack of cards, and she went through, and it was all Chicago stuff, and there was a Packers card, and she went ew, and handed it back to him, which I thought was just awesome.
that's funny.
But yeah, nothing like splashy. So I've been mindful too. Like I want to have cash on hand for that. Like, hey, I need to here's a $10,000 collection where you're gonna have that incredible arbitrage opportunity where people are just like, I need to get liquid. But I want to buy stuff that still had some upside and made me feel safe. So I've been buying a lot of the stuff still sealed from Panini.
Yep.
Like this is an Ant-Man numbered out of 25. I love that the autograph stayed on sticker. Obviously, this is anything Detroit. You always know we're moving that stuff.
Yep.
And then I've had it fun because I don't know a lot about it. I've been just scooping up hockey. So
There you
there's a
go.
Leon out of 50, 10, 10. So just like nothing like crazy, but just fun, cool stuff that I know when I choose to sell it, I'll be able to move it. So I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about being stuck. And I feel the price point that we entered in at is safe.
Yep. And the the first show I might go to, because I've been taking a break from shows as well, and I'm gonna pull him up because knowing you know him, if you know him, it's kind of funny. The video that he did, and Jeremy, you might know who I'm talking about. But I do got to give some big props to him because as a promoter, you would like to see this. You would like to see this if you're going to set up at a show, and I think you are. But yeah, here, Mr. B's, Mr. Brad, look at this. Have you seen this?
No.
Hey guys, it's Brad Beeman of B Sports and the Shipshewana Card Fest. On Black Friday, November 24th, we're bringing a very special show right here to Fort Wayne, Indiana in the amazing Sport One Fieldhouse. This show is sold out and filled with some of the best dealers in the Midwest. They're not only bringing their amazing inventory to sell, they're also looking to cash you out for the holidays.
He's talking about you.
In true Black Friday fashion, we'll be giving away a Zion case every half hour from 9:30 to noon. We'll also give you opportunities to win a chance to get a free box breaks with our friends at Midwest Box Breaks. And another thing, we have over 20,000 square feet that we'll be filling up with the best vintage, modern, and Pokemon cards that you're ever going to see. So come see us on November 24th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Black Friday in the Fort Card Show by B Sports. I want to thank our sponsors, Sports Stop of Angola, Sports Card Machines, Hollister Sports Card,
Go.
and TNT. Guys, we can't wait to see you in a couple weeks.
I'm
Man,
telling
that was
you.
the first time. Figures this guy fucking does a commercial. Look at like the flyer right there in the middle. Because we're just like we couldn't do a kid scavenger hunt on Black Friday coming off of a holiday.
There
know
you
what I mean?
are.
First goddamn time this guy goes out and gets Steven Spielberg to fucking do commercials for him.
Yep.
Shout out to B Sports Card, man. Great people.
So that
Although we all know Gabby does all the work.
exactly, Gabby does everything. No, I saw that yesterday, and I was like, wow, this is sick. Like to see a promoter doing that makes me want to go. I wasn't planning on going to the show because it's a Black Friday and I'm usually with my family, but I might go.
Imagine if he had that commercial. So his shows, what is it, 180 tables?
That's a 200 plus, didn't it?
No, I'm saying no, it's 100. It's 100 plus for that show.
Oh, is it?
But I'm saying for Shipshewana, it's almost, let's just say 200 tables.
Oh, 100 plus. Yep.
I appreciate you doubting me and then getting corrected on air. So let's just say for the sake of easy numbers.
I was actually looking at the Shipshewana tables. I'll tell you.
I know what the answer is, dude.
It's 200. Is that okay? I thought. Yeah, sorry, my bad.
So you've been to Trade Night, and Trade Night is absolutely packed.
Yes.
Can you imagine what Trade Night would turn into if he cut that kind of commercial showcasing his Trade Night?
Yeah, it's insane.
This is, if you haven't, I think he should pay us because I'm going to plug his shit hard.
Let's do it. We'll clip it and send it to Courtney. Clip.
Oh man, poor Courtney's hopper is so filled because I've done like a lot of like these taste tests or we've got like stuff like that, and so I like to like poke the bear. Like today, I made up my mind like I'm just gonna piss her off no matter what. But when he said dealers who will cash you out, That is not an exaggeration.
Nope.
I historically, with the exception of one show, have always absolutely crushed trade night relative to the show.
Mhm.
And my last trade night was so good that at the end of the night, I had so few cards left. I wish somebody just truly cashed me out and I didn't even have to set up the next day.
Yeah. I mean, it happened last one. Someone cashed you out and
Like,
you're struggling to get so you're like, dude, I have all these tables. But we had a good friend JN that you let have some of your table space.
yes. And I was just like, so when he says cash you out, these are the kind of people that are there. And it might not get the publicity that the big Northeast shows or the shows out West get, but they are legitimate heavy hitters there.
Yes. Big dog is there.
Yeah, I know, big dog too. So I mean, and there's people there buying for the repacks. So
Yep.
if you're interested and you're curious and you want more information, or like maybe you're uncomfortable because I remember the first time I heard that out and I'm like, how the hell does this happen? Like my first ever national, I didn't know that there was a spot you could go and they'll just buy your cards no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, assuming they fall within like a certain criteria. And so like if you're trying to get liquid and you're just like you want to be out, want to get money, or you want to go and have some money to play with at the show, it will happen there.
Yeah. I mean, for example, with me, we this is another plug for them. Look at we're plugging other people. Sometimes Jeremy and I don't want it, but you know who's always buying? TNT. You can always go to TNT if you're at the right price. So shout out to TNT because they're always buying out people. Come
Yeah.
to us first and then go to TNT, right, Jeremy?
Exactly. Hell,
Yeah.
sometimes I go to them and I just act as a pass through.
Yeah. But no. If you're selling, come to Jeremy and Manny first.
Well,
Then
100%.
TNT.
100%.
Don't go to TNT. We'll
But
play
if you go to TNT, see Tyler, tell him Jeremy sent you and he'll take care of you.
there you go.
There is not a better person. We talk about relationships all the time.
Yep.
I've gotten to a spot with Tyler where there is no looking up comps. There is nothing. You hand him a grip of cards, you give him the number, boom.
Yep.
And there's no like if somebody ever is like, I can't get that low on that card, which hasn't happened, but I'm sure inevitably it will. There is no animosity. It's very comfortable and very easy. And so like treating people the right way, doing right by them, not trying to get every single penny out of every single deal. Do you know what it's like to do a $5,000 deal in like 60 seconds?
Nope.
Here, I'm here at 2,000. I'm 1,000 here, 500 here, 400 here, 300 here. Comes to this 85%. Cool. Got you.
Do you trust? So you trust Tyler? Do you trust our man Tommy?
Tommy's my guy. I have been with Tommy out at PSA. I've been out with Tommy at Burbank.
I'm trying to get the smoke between. Tommy.
Oh, don't worry. I'll stir it up anyway. Let me tell you something. Tommy's such a good dude that I bought a Kevin Durant RPA at Burbank.
Yeah.
And like, I don't like to haggle. And Tommy has no problem haggling. Like, hey man, I see that this $1,000 card is marked for $6. Anything you can do for me? Can you work with me?
Yeah.
So I was like, hey man, can you, dude, give me this Durant. And it was already an awesome price.
Yep.
He looked at me. He's like, "Are you fucking mind?" He's like, "If they look this up, they're gonna mark it up like $200." He's like, "No, I'm not helping you. You're buying the card at that price."
That's awesome.
Yeah, but no. In all seriousness, if you're going, you're in a bad spot, or like you want to, but you're not gonna have money, that is a show where you can go get liquid. You can have money. You have a good time, and a lot of those dealers there are incredible people that Manny and I both know pretty well.
Yep. Black Friday.
You want to get a little bit closer, big dog. You're
Black Friday.
Yeah.
Friday.
Yep.
Is the date of that show, and you guys are setting up, right?
I believe so.
Okay. I didn't know if you and Courtney were.
I believe so. I just asked. I didn't even want like a big setup. I'm like, I'll take a back corner table. Just give me one small table and I'll cook.
There you go.
We'll cook.
Well, Jeremy,
Can I go ahead?
go ahead. I was just gonna say baseball's done, and are you buying baseball right now since baseball's done?
I'll wait like another month. I think that spot when you're looking at buying, I'm gonna wait for the holidays for
Yep.
people to forget about prospects. I'm using this time to compile the players I'm gonna go after. I'm obviously like currently looking at certain raw items, like if those pop up for a steal. But I'm like same way for baseball money, just continuing to grow that.
Okay. That was just a quick question before we move on because I was thinking about some players and I didn't know if I should look now or in a couple months.
I mean, you always be mindful. Like if you believe in somebody and they pop up, sometimes like I'm learning to trust my gut and be like, man, I wish I would have jumped all over that.
Yeah.
I wish I would have jumped. Now I want to make a two-part thing. One, looking at baseball now has become the norm for the way we operate. It was so awkward at first, and I really didn't care for it, but I trusted in the process because logically it made sense. Everybody's talking about their cards being down or what they priced from, last week to this week. It's been so refreshing buying in the off season where things are already low that when you get that jump, maybe it's not as great as it once was. You capitalize, get your money, and move out.
You could also pay at 90%.
It makes it like I don't even haggle. If somebody's even remotely close to my number, deal.
Yeah,
Deal. I've
exactly.
already got upside on it. I don't want to, unless they're rude, then obviously I haggle a little bit.
Exactly. So that I just wanted to ask that question before we went on to the next thing.
Yeah, I had a two-parter there and I absolutely lost it. But I will say, like, if you can learn to do that, it is cool. It is really, really cool. I mean, I'm still gonna buy a little bit of basketball. Like, I look at so many different places and I'm familiar, like I've narrowed down what I'm looking at. Making those snap decisions becomes pretty easy because I know if I can buy it right here for 70 and sell it right here for 80 with minimal effort, that makes all the sense in the world.
Yep. And I mean, I'm going to be buying basketball. I'm just going to be buying a prospect basketball. My boy Evan Bushy knows exactly who it is. I've been letting him scoop up his because we're both PC and the same guy. I've been letting him scoop up all the eBay numbered stuff because I told him in Christmas time he better back off because it's going to be me and I don't want him bidding on me since I let him have all these cards and he's the nicest guy. He's like, you could have bid me. I'm like, friends don't bid on each other like that.
There you go. That's what's up, dog. No, and so my second part was when you explore different avenues of buying, selling, trading, all the frustrations, some of the painful things, some of the mishaps that we've gone through has positioned us where I feel like I don't want to say we're a little bit shielded from what a lot of people are feeling because I'm not just dependent on buying basketball right now on eBay, trying to grade it and then turn around and flip it, or buying and just selling from the same platforms. And so because we've narrowed down, like, hey, we're looking for right brands, we're avoiding, legacy football. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but like we're moving like, hey, what does everybody want? They want NT, flawless, prism, optic. And then the players we're looking at, so their market.
Yep.
And then we're buying in the off season. And it sucks at first because it's not as fun. Like, man, there's been some football cards I want to buy because of performance in the NFL or somebody does something that I like, and I'm like, ugh, can't go against what I'm doing because it's been working.
Mm-hmm.
So I say all that, and it's a good way to segue is we tried the new golden thing.
Oh, yeah, with TCG, right?
Well, I mean, I had sent in 28 cards, 24 gemmed. And so for those who don't know, I'll quickly recap that process is you send in your cards, they get graded by PSA, they go directly into Golden's weekly auction. They say that it takes 20 days. My experience, it was probably about 35 days. Now, give them the benefit of the doubt as they iron out the kinks. So I bought a lot of cards. And for nice, easy math, I'm just going to say $250. We sent them in. 28 got graded, 24 gemmed. And I knew two of them weren't going to gem. It was just like this DK Metcalf inscription that was so dope that I was just like, I don't care. I want it.
Oh, I seen that one. That was
Yeah.
cool.
Sorry for the wait or whatever. It was just, It was slabbed up. Now, when you send it in for the grading, the money does not come out of your pocket. They take it after the sale. So coming up to me at that time, I had probably a couple hundred cards being graded. And so that's a decent amount of change, which leaves me kind of, naked in the war chest. You want some firepower. I'm not a Manny being Manny. I'm not a Don breaking wax. I'm not a Vadim. I'm not a Kendall. I'm not a Lane. I'm not any of these guys that, spend seven figures on a weekly basis on cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just over here just trying to scratch and claw and survive, buy
Yeah.
my P Will cards and go about my business. So 250, send these 28 off 24 gem. They go into auction. I don't have to handle anything. I was very critical that some of the posts sucked when they sent them to us.
Yep.
They went back and fixed them, and they were just as good, if not better, as what I would have posted.
Mm-hmm.
Auctions ran, ended up doing about, I'd say, $1,400. And
Wow.
so I'll pay the grading so $1,400, and then I'll get paid at 105, 105%.
There you go. But then then the grading fees get taken out, right?
I mean, actually, to like 105 is what's offered to the public. I think I'm at 110.
Yeah.
Because obviously Golden's making that 10% bump there, because they're 120. But then they also get the cards, like the guaranteed new stuff in the weekly auction. They can promote it. So it was trying that. I knew I was going to sacrifice some margin because there's no way every card's going to go for top dollar when I myself are looking at like marketplaces like PWCC to take advantage of shit that gets lost in the middle. But if you look at it like this, 1,500, let's take out 250 for the grading. That's 1,250. Or I'm sorry, the 250 for the initial purchase of the cards. That's 1,250. Then let's just take 400 for grading. My grading was less because a lot of those cards were TCG, so it was actually only but we'll use 400. That's 850 net profit for me.
That's insane.
With all I had to do was receive the cards, package them, and send them off.
Again, do it again?
I will, because as I use my cash for other things, that's a great way. Like, okay, I don't mind if this card's Windows $75 to $100, regardless. Oh well, I'll just be prepared for low end.
Yeah.
That way I can use the money to maybe express an order, have cash for a bigger purchase, or trade up with card in cash, as opposed to getting back these 30 cards because I wouldn't have moved them that quickly.
Were these from Brandon?
They were.
Because he just
some of the Pokemon were.
I was going to say, he just asked me if I wanted a Pokemon and never told me a price. He said he was going to tell me before you, so he probably already went to you.
I already bought it.
God. He told me last night, I'm offering these to you, never gave me a price.
Yeah. Yeah, he bought it. It's a nice, sweet lot.
I'm going to text him and be like, thanks for telling me a price.
Do you know what I told him? I said, at this point, you offer Manny first all the time.
Nope.
I have been a loyal customer. I think I should get dibs from now on. So you think about that. I'm able to hang on to my cash, or maybe I didn't have cash at the moment. Whatever scenario you want to insert, do it. It was successful. And minimal effort on my part.
Yeah, I mean, you kill it.
You could also look at it what kind of margin am I truly sacrificing? And I'm a tough barometer of that because I don't know Pokemon. I looked them up. I checked pop reports. I saw some sales.
You try.
Oh, here's the thing: between Card Ladder, the eBay picture search function, alt, serial numbers, pop reports. Man, I'm a G.
Ludex.
They're not paying me.
I look.
Brian, cut me a check.
I actually, with Pokemon, I've been looking at Ludex because it's easy for me.
Yes. But what I'm saying is don't be afraid to try some new stuff because it gives me any situation. I bought boxes just to send to ComC.
There you go. I like it.
Because I'm oh, I know what I can do with this. Boom, I get it, gone.
Yeah, most people don't think of that because it's us peasants in the hobby, we think of the quarter cards. Unlike, the names you listed, they're not thinking of that. You buy the boxes from them and you do the work.
Well, I can see how it'd be easy to be influenced. If you follow, whether or not they're influencers, somebody who has sway within the hobby, who is a a bigger account,
Yep.
you watch what they do and you try to mimic it. Like, oh shit, well, if I walk around with a cameraman and a luggage at a show and hook up a couple of kids and do this, I'll be the next Ryan, or I'll be the next Santiago, or and I'm not saying those guys are the influencers, but I'm just saying it's just natural for people to see that. And so what I say, my only pushback is try your own thing.
Yep.
Like I always thought it was like, how could you give up on a card that could potentially go to $10 million and you're just selling it in the off season? I used to think Brandon was crazy.
Yeah.
Now I'm on the other side. I'm like, how could you operate any other way? And I probably now miss out on opportunities where, like, man, I can still buy this. This is still going to go up. He's balling. He's playing good. But I'm like, I'm trying to be principled.
There you go. It's hard to keep you principled.
No, you know what? I've been pretty steady. You told me you were going to be the king of TCG and that I would never like sniff your jock.
No, I
You were
never
going to
said that.
school me on TCG.
I said TCG. Jeremy's like, I'm gonna outdo Manny in TCG. I said I'm buying Panini Redemptions. Jeremy said I'm gonna outdo Manny on Panini Redemption.
Hey, dude, I'm a competitor and I hate losing. But
Yeah.
you did tell me that you were gonna school me in TCG.
I did not.
I did. I just listened to the episode again because I was thinking about one day. I was feeling like I had like a half an hour, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go snip a clip, and I'm like, I'm just gonna stir it up and throw some shit talking out there. You did, because I was learning all about, like, I hadn't even watched Demon Slayer at that point.
I mean, okay. I know more. I think I would say I know a little bit. You kill it on the selling and stuff. I know the TCG, not like I know the characters. We'll just end at that.
Okay, so yeah, you probably do know the characters a little bit better than I, but I fully embraced it. Like I said, I said
Yeah,
I would.
I got shitted on the first 2 cases I tried, so it kind of put a damper on my thing.
You know what those could be? What is it called? It's
Pinpoint.
only a loss if you quit. Otherwise, that L is a lesson or something like that.
It hurt
There's something witty in there.
a little bit. Still hurt me.
I mean,
It is. I still want to.
Just black labels chilling.
I think what really hurt me is Tyler giving me BGS 9s, and I'm seeing black labels left and right on Jeremy's side.
Promo prize card. No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. I got 9s.
Waifus. I got waifus too. You want some waifus?
That's awful. Jesus.
Now I will say, I've been bullish and I've said nothing bad about TCG. Correct?
Nope.
I've got some bullshit to tell you. One, there is a guy who shills people's stuff up and just acts like an asshole for the sake of it, and he's starting to become pretty known. And you and I got dragged into a beef for nothing other than having bagels and wax on our show. I'm like, well, I don't publicly bash anyone outside of that dickhead from Whatnot who's trying to go. What's that?
And the cousins.
What was his name?
From Whatnot, Blake Martinez?
Yeah, Blake Martinez, that piece of shit. I hope he makes an NFL roster, and I hope he gets beat in the head. Anyways, I will not forget him.
I wish he signed with the Eagles.
Piece of garbage, that guy,
Yep.
man. Piece of garbage. What are we talking about?
Shit face people. You were talking about the guy that runs up people's eBay tabs and doesn't
Yes. So anyway, you and me get dragged into this. I'm like, what the hell?
Yep.
But you know what? I don't engage. I
didn't even see it. I wish I would have saw it.
To be clear, he wasn't going after you and I, but he was taking our stuff. I was like, man, I don't know you. I'm not involved in this stuff. Obviously, either.
Thanks for the view.
Oh, the kids say, living in that head rent free.
Yeah.
Rent free. I don't even know what the hell we're talking about.
I don't know. Let's fight them.
No, seriously, what were we talking about? Because if somebody's listening and actually paying attention, they're going to be pissed if we don't.
TCG. You're talking about TCG.
Oh, okay. So yes.
How better you are than me at everything.
Thank you, sunglasses. Anyways, then I get 3 non-payments on auctions that I ran 10 days and promoted. All from the Philippines and Taiwan. So now I'm like, is this fucking Brandon's beef now getting my shit shilled?
No, those
What the
times.
hell? And I made it because they went wild. And I was getting like lots of views, and like there's like a dopamine release when your phone does the bring,
Yeah.
bring, bring. And so when I was watching these things, like one shot up, it went from like $9.99 to $100 in like 15 minutes.
Yep.
And like the first bidder, 0.00000, and I'm like, oh come on, man! I've been
Yep.
so fortunate to not have to deal with any of this shit. Maybe one canceled auction ever, and I got hit with 3 of them.
I
And
hope
like,
they pay for that JMO.
no, they paid for the JMO. JMO got paid for right away.
I bet.
Right
Dude.
away. The auction wasn't even done, and the dude was sending me money somehow. Don't ask me how.
Oh, I can't win.
What did you pay for that raw?
125.
Sold for 66. BGS 95.
Yep. So 125 plus the grading, which I hate. Why do you think
The amazing Manuel? Let me show you the disappearing act. I will show you how to take $120 and turn it into 40.
I hate life. Why do you think I'm taking a break?
I didn't even get mad at these people. I just said they're like, hey, blah 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 this, blah 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 this. So I referenced their history, and I'm like, seems like you're a pretty good buyer. I have faith you'll figure it out. Bless you. Have a great day, or whatever cornball shit I put in there. I don't fight with them.
Yeah, you're good at telling nice things through text. You're good at writing text messages so nice that you feel like a douchebag when you're reading it.
I do. There was this guy, and we're very similar, but I never thought of it this way. He would come up to you, Manny, and when he say hello, he'd shake your hand, right hand, and on his left hand, he would like rub your trap.
Oh no!
Go down your arm, like maybe tap you on the back, and always say something very complimentary, and not like complimentary, like hey man, nice triceps or something like that. It would be like your skin feels very soft today, or that moisturizer, but not in a dude on dude trying to make dude feel uncomfortable sort of way. This was just like a guy being over the top friendly, and whoever's on the receiving end of it knows this is my own insecurity or my own inability to be comfortable, allowing myself to get uncomfortable, and then just showering you with compliments. Like, oh, are you trying new deodorant? You smell fresh. Or I really like the way those pants wear. Like things you just don't hear a normal dude telling, hey Manny, wow, like, man, I like how you trimmed your beard, and I like how your shirt is tucked into your pants. Or hey, like your bulge looks amazing. Like, and he said, Jeremy, how do you start any conversation like that and have it go super south?
Exactly.
And I never positioned it that way in my brain, and I was like, that's pretty good. But I've always been. Every conversation I start with is usually 5 minutes of me berating a person with compliments.
Yeah, you do that at shows all the time.
We have entered, and I'm getting ready to put an end on it. We've reached a point where I begin everything by telling people my life is so good because I'm in your presence or in your company right now that there's no point in moving on with life because it doesn't get better than this.
Yeah, you've told me that 20 times. Every time I call you, I'm like, how are you doing? Oh, it's great. My dear friend Manny's talking to me. I'm like, shut up.
And everybody thinks it's like a shtick. It's not. It's just like truly like I do mean it to us. Like now, do I amplify it a little bit? But like also, and I think this is where I hope people give Courtney the flowers she deserves. She deals with this shit nonstop. Like this is from the time we wake up in the morning till the time we go to bed.
Yeah, I can only imagine when she's pissed off at you and you come in and say, "Oh, I'm so happy you graced my or something like that. You get to grace me with your presence or something like that."
I do.
Piss her off so much.
Or I act like I can't, like I couldn't even begin to fathom why she's upset. And
Yeah.
then like, why are you so mad? Why are you being angry? Why are you trying to sour the mood? Like,
or how someone like me ended up with someone like you.
oh, she gets that all the time. She gets that all the time. And you know what's weird too is like Courtney's like more like a dude when it comes to that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like she's really like she's the one like we cool? Yeah, we're good. Cool.
Slaps your butt and moves on.
Yeah. No, she's totally like a dude when it comes to that. Like, hey, let me take you into the bedroom. Meanwhile, I'm all up in my feelings and I'm like,
I haven't showered. I haven't done this.
Physically, I'm here.
I got a headache.
Emotionally, I'm not. I just give me some space. Or, hey, Jeremy, what's wrong? Because she'll speak her mind.
Yeah.
She will speak her mind. Jeremy, what's wrong? Nothing. Jeremy, what's wrong? I know something's pissing you off. Nothing. Are you going to tell me? No, there's just nothing to say, Court. Oh, so we're going to do this?
She's like, I'm going to go to the bar and have a beer. Leave me alone.
It's so stupid, too, because, like, we all know what the outcome is. Let's just fast forward and get there. No,
Yep.
I'm fine.
Jeremy's over in the corner eating ice cream, watching rom-coms while Courtney's going to the bar drinking because she can't.
I know. You know, shit talking me, lusting after every dude. It's like
My piece of shit husband's eating ice cream watching something about Mary.
how many times is he gonna watch Suits?
Yeah. He said he's going to watch The Bachelor right after that, too, and I can't handle it.
Oh my god. Dude. It has been I understand people's frustration with cards. I truly do. If you're in like if you've overextended yourself, you've got debt or like you're dying because you need to pay some bills, I feel for you. Please reach out. I think Manny would agree. We'll help any way that we can, or at least attempt to help, or just be a voice if you want to vent. If you're truly doing this for hobby, I think it makes sense. If you don't want to buy cards, don't buy cards. If you don't want to sell cards, don't sell cards. If you want to buy and sell and not share every detail on social media, dude, that's cool too. But you should do whatever you got to do to make yourself right. And I've really been appreciative of when Manny wants to spend time with his family, or I want to spend time with mine, or there's something going on. We don't want to get on here and just do it for the sake of doing it because it feels like a chore. I want to do it out of the love and the passion that we have for hanging out, shooting the shit, and talking about like sports cards. And so I would say like don't listen to all these doom and gloom people too, because all the only difference I've made is like I've stayed off social, but I've been still buying and selling cards. Like I've seen some cool stuff, and sure, once in a while the urge to get on there and share something is, but sometimes it's also kind of cool just to know that like, man, that's a cool card. That's badass. When I go and have a conversation with somebody, I can actually show them the card because it hasn't been beaten to death on my social media.
There you go.
Yeah, it's something you don't think about. So I would encourage everybody, like, it's not doom and gloom. It's not the end of the world. Not everything sucks. It's still cards, man. It's still fun. There's still cool people, and just, do what you got to do to make the best of it.
Yeah, exactly. There could be worse things. You could be a Bulls fan.
You could be.
Exactly.
You could be a Fire fan. You could be a Bears fan.
Cubs are on the way up.
You know what you do have going for you, though, if you're listening to this, is you're a Too Thick fan.
There you go.
Which means you're damn smart.
Exactly. And we love all you guys.
Yeah.
But the people that haven't subscribed, you guys are assholes because you've listened to an hour of us talk and you haven't hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, where's the thumbs up, man? Shouldn't there be thumbs up littering my screen?
Exactly. Jeremy,
like, subscribe, and smash. Maybe you have to caress it a little bit, give it a little tap. Oh, You didn't hit that subscribe. You got a half click.
Lick your hand,
lick
your finger.
This time a little bit harder. It made the noise like but it didn't go all the way in. Okay, if I can lick it, pop, give it a good smash that subscribe button. Next thing you know, you're getting updates. We're doing shorts. I'm going to be eating wicked bold chocolates. Manny's going to be drinking leche con sal. It's going to be all sorts of craziness going on, and you're not going to want to miss it.
And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed your hobby release.
In your face.
And we will be back soon. Peace.